Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode 9 of the Someday podcast. Now, this is going to be another episode. Now, if you guys can't tell, I'm nervous right now. I'm not nervous, but I'm nervous. But this is another episode. I haven't done these episodes in a long time, so I think we're getting to the hang of it and whatnot. But hopefully after this episode, it'll be. Well, I can't spoil it. You guys will just know. But yeah, we're back here at another episode. As you can tell, new setup, new person. So I will just introduce you guys to my guest, Honey. Hello, Honey.
Hello. As the title states, I am MissHunny, a member of the Faders Discord server. Coming up on almost 2 years, I think, in September. So,
Mm-hmm.
gonna be a long-term member that I am.
That's good to know. As you guys know, I've just been doing this for a while, but that is Miss Honey for you. So why don't we just get straight into the questions and whatnot and start this?
Alright.
If you want to pull up the stream, by the way, you can, so you can see, the comments and whatnot, or see how it's
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, I
Okay,
got it.
cool, cool, cool. I'll start with well, let's just get right into it. So, how did you come up with the name Miss Honey?
Um, I think I want to say it was back in 2014 that I changed my gamer tag on Xbox to it. And granted, on Xbox it was taken, so I've got like the double X's in the front and end of it. Um, but I remember wanting. It used to just be something kind of personal, like with my middle name and whatnot. I'm like, it's not. I don't like it. It's not very cute. And people kept even though my middle name's obviously it's obviously a girl's middle name, but people would still mistake me for being a guy, and I'm like, I don't like that. So I'm like, I'll just put something really girly. And so I was using one of those like gamer tag generators,
Oh my
and
goodness.
it I got a mix between something with funny as in the food, and
Mm-hmm.
then something with bunny. I'm like, well, I knew I wanted to put Miss in front of it, but I'm like, I have no association with bunnies. But if I could put the two together,
It would
it's
work.
like how I'm like, well, one, it's a good play off my own name, but it's also I like Winnie the Pooh because he's a bear, and that's how he would spell the actual on his honey pots. He'd misspell it like that. I'm like, that's kind of cute. So I put it like that, and it just stuck. So
I see. I swear to God, almost everyone who's came in here has said, you know what? Fuck it. Why don't we go with the fucking game tag generator? I swear, the names are so like I don't know. I don't know. It's very clever put on though on how you did it, which I think that's pretty cool and whatnot. Uh, well, that's cool. That's cool to see. Again, the random names coming out of the name tag generator, but you know things like that are just strange. But next question, what made you want to join the Discord server?
um, it was kind of I mean, it was kind of like a between. I was in between joining or not because I was very active on Left 4 Dead on Xbox. To the point where I probably have 700 hours on there. So I would play it nightly for a couple semesters in college, and then I moved home, and suddenly my Wi-Fi wouldn't connect to the servers on Xbox. So I'm like, I can't play Left 4 Dead anymore, and this sucks. And so I dealt with not being able to play for several months until it was like July, like the very end of July in 2022. And I was like, I'm sick of not being able to play, so I just said, screw it, I'm gonna buy a third copy of Left 4 Dead, but this time it's gonna be on Steam. And so I tried it out, and I played throughout probably the whole month of August, just doing random campaign lobbies. And I was enjoying myself, just not really, like, just going through the motions of, like, I don't know who any of these people are. And then at one point, I came across, like, it was like a group of 3 or 4 people, because they had a modded lobby, but they were just playing normal campaign, and they were pretty cool. They were good at the game, and all of a sudden, like, we got to, like, we would go back to the lobby, and they swapped the game mode when I wasn't looking. So they swapped it from campaign to tank run. And we were playing on the last stand of all maps.
Oh, God.
So that was my first ever experience playing tank run. And I was so, like, confused, like, why are there, like, where are the other zombies? Because I didn't know that they had changed it at the time. And I just went along with it, because I didn't know what, like, I had no clue what was going on. I'd only been playing Left 4 Dead on PC for a month at that point. And so, yeah, I just went along with it. And then once we finally finished the campaign, like, they all logged off for the night. But I was like, that was kind of fun. So instead of joining in on random campaign lobbies from then on, for about a week, I would join into random tank run lobbies instead. And the first time I got the link to the Discord, I had joined one of iColor's lobbies randomly, and I played with them for a while, and towards the end of the night, they dropped the link. And so I searched it up, and I had to, like, re-log into my Discord and everything, because I hadn't touched Discord at that point for probably over a year and a half, because I had only made my Discord because of a computer science class where the professor wanted us to communicate via Discord. So that's the only reason I even had an account. So I had to, like, reactivate it and everything so I could look at what this link was. So I put the link in, and I saw, like, the server banner with, like, I want to say it had Ellis in it and, like, a bunch of tanks at the time. I'm like, what the heck is this?
Oh my god! Oh my god! I think
I was so confused, but I saved the link in like a sticky note, on my computer, and I'm like, I'll come back to it later. So I didn't join that night. And then the exact following night, I was joining random lobbies, and I joined yours because you were hosting at the time, and played through the rounds and whatnot. And then towards the end of you hosting, Majin dropped a link for those of us who wanted it, and I checked the link and saw that it matched to the one I had seen the previous night. I'm like, well, it's kind of a coincidence to get the same link 2 days in a row. I might as well just join and just see how it goes, because if I don't like it, I can leave.
Fate.
And so I joined, and the rest is history.
Oh yeah. It had to be fate, man. I'm just saying, it had to be the fact that you got it twice in a day, and the fact that it was like you were joining them and whatnot. You were joining like more and more. It had to be. It was meant to be. Come on now.
I suppose.
Do you think things might have been any different if you didn't join the server?
I mean, it's hard to tell. There's a lot of things have changed since joining the server because when I joined, I was like a few months out of graduating college for the first time. And I was deep in the job search process for what I was originally planning to do, which was like data analytics. Um, and that was really rough because I am not that good at data analytics. But I was like, no, I have to do this because I have to pay off my student loans.
Yeah.
So I was making myself miserable. And probably around October, so about a month after joining, I said, screw this. I'm going to take a break from that and I'll figure it out uh, later at some point. And so I just enjoyed my time in the server and not having to worry about it as much. But probably around, I guess, April 2023, I started putting a little more thought into like, oh, what do I want to do? Because I didn't want to just. I need to figure out something. Um, and so it's like over the summer, it was a lot of thinking. I'm like, I wasn't really sure. So I was thinking like, oh, maybe I need to go back to looking for jobs in either data analytics or if I want to do like administrative work. Um,
Yeah.
and a lot of going back and forth with that. But eventually, because I kept seeing like, because a lot of people on the server here, they're that a lot of them are like either starting off in college or getting towards the end, and so it's a lot of that really influenced me to look at like, well, maybe I could go back and like go a little further into education, which is, I mean, it really influenced me into going into my master's program, which I'm in right now. Um, and so if I hadn't joined the server, I don't know if I would have gone, if I'd be in a master's program right now. For all I know, I could have eventually like gotten some like boring 9 to 5 like admin job that I absolutely hated,
Yeah.
and I would just be miserable. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm glad it worked out like this. I don't really want to know what it'd be like if I hadn't joined.
It's a very it's a very kind of like, I wouldn't say scary, but I'd say it's kind of like a scary but like not confusing thing because it's like, you know, a lot of possibilities could have happened. You could have
Yeah.
turned out like this, you could have turned out like that. I mean, who knows what would have happened? I know that I do know for sure that a lot of people who I've asked the same question to, they were like, "Oh yeah, for sure," because everyone obviously would be doing. They wouldn't be probably playing Left 4 Dead as much. We wouldn't be,
Yeah.
doing what we do now and whatnot. We would probably all be doing something boring right now, and I know that for a fact. A lot of things would be different. It's like one one small thing like joining the server and talking can lead all the way up to this, which I think is just crazy. It's crazy to think
Yeah.
about. So this one's kind of an off-topic one, but what are your thoughts on cats? I know you're a very,
Uh,
very loving cat person. You love,
yes.
judging by how you wanted the room styled, and how you mostly post in the cats channel. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts on cats?
I mean, I grew up with having cats. Um, I think. I mean, we'd always have like adult cats around. We'd have little kittens that we'd uh get to see grow up. And that's all. We've always just had cats. I mean, granted, nowadays the cats we have, um, they're not the best. They're kind of making me not want cats. Um, because the bats that we have right now, they are destructive. And I mean, that's just the nature of cats, honestly, because the best cats I've had have been rescue cats, and none of the cats we have right now are rescues. They're either
Jeez.
just strays that show up or ones that I specifically like picked out to adopt. Like just from people who had kittens to give away. It's always the shelter cats that are the best behaved. So
Oh
I kind
yeah.
of wish we only had those,
They're
but we don't.
trained.
So
They're trained. Well,
yeah,
I
well
mean, kinda.
they're desperate for love, and that's sad. But that means
Yeah.
that they're a little nicer. But the cats we have right now, they all have attitude issues. They're like, I own this house. It's like, no, you don't. You're a cat. Um, so
They just think they own
it's
them.
a I have a love-hate relationship with my cats, but they also have a love-hate relationship with me. So I guess we're on equal grounds.
That's fair. Dude, I swear, every cat I meet, okay, not every cat I meet, some cats will be just, soft and nice. But damn, the clips I've seen, or not even clips, just like cats I've seen, damn, bro, they be they be wildin'. What the hell? I mean that in a good way. What the hell are wrong with those cats? What the fuck?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I think some are like trained because they're desperate for love, which it is sad.
Yeah.
Um, the ones for me, I love cats. I'm a very big cat lover. Um,
Hmm.
my favorite cat breed, honestly, I think, from because I've seen a few cats, but one I definitely do love our orange tabbies. I don't know if you know those,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah, I've got one. Kevin.
I'm guessing is he wild from what I've seen.
Well, considering we got him because he along with all his like his siblings when they were kittens, they got up under a truck and like fell out as the person was driving, and
Jesus!
they got like picked up that way. And we had to clean like all the motor oil off him when we took him home.
Oh my god.
He's a little special. He's more dog than he is cat in personality.
What the fuck? I didn't even know that was possible. What the
Yeah.
hell?
Oh, he licks everything. It's ridiculous. And if you pick him up, he'll like manhandle you because he's a big fat cat.
Oh
But
my
he'll manhandle you
god.
to like hold him like a baby. It's like so stupid.
Jesus.
Like if I
Jesus.
can't have my arms around your neck, you're not holding me correctly. I'm like, you're a cat. What do you mean?
True. Okay. Do you have this kind of leads on to the kind of cat type? Do you have a favorite type of animal? Or no, not animal, besides cats? And if so, then if so, what? And why?
Um, I mean, I love bears. I
Oh my
my name is
god.
somewhat based off bears. I've got my bears like the spray in game.
Yeah,
I've been
the
asking for the
sticker.
bear tank. Like I want little bear ears on my player model in the game. I like bears. I've
Can't
got a lot
forget
of bear plushies.
that one sticker of the bear and is he's doing the fucking shy hands. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I mean aside from bears, I also really like mooses just cuz I think they're cool. This giant deer.
Interesting type of choice of animal. I don't think I've ever heard. I don't. I in my years, I don't think I've ever heard someone say moose. Everyone always usually says, "Oh, dog," or cat, or even at one point, someone walked up to me and they were like, "Oh, I like eagles." I was like, "What the? You like eagles? What do you mean you like eagle?" Some people, not that it's bad, but geez, I usually always hear like the simple, cats, dogs, but
Yeah,
moose is an interesting one.
and I
Bears are
think
good
they're
too.
cool.
They look cool, man. They look
Yeah,
adorable. Not okay, not like that, but you know
they
what I
can
mean.
mess you up.
What the hell? I think what was funny. Okay, well, it's not funny, but it was when I was taking a trip. There was a moose that okay, because I was talking to the person driving the wheel. I forgot who they were. Um, but we were
You're
talking and
being
whatever,
kidnapped. It's fine.
and then and so basically, a moose came onto the goddamn road, and we were like, oh shit, stop the car, stop the
Yeah.
car, and thank God, because that moose was almost blocking traffic, which is crazy, man.
I don't know. Those things will. I mean, like a deer will leave a dent. No, a moose, it's gonna leave a dent in you.
Oh my God. Do you ever plan to fully upload videos, like full uploads, full videos or
uh,
whatever, to your YouTube channel, or will it just be a channel for backup clips?
the intention behind it is primarily to be a clip archive. Um, and I mean, I've been lazy. I think I've taken a month off of uploading.
I know.
Just because it takes forever. I have to go back and I want to do things in chronological order. So I have to go back and make sure I get the dates as correctly as possible for the description. And it's tedious. Because I have to go through and check all the different settings I want it to look like, and it's just lazy. But ultimately, at this point in time, it's really just meant to be a clip archive. Because
I see.
I don't want to go through the effort of like having to
Editing.
learn how to edit and all that.
Oh yeah, it's tedious. Very
Yeah.
tedious.
Yeah,
Um,
so I'm happy to keep it just as a clip archive.
recommend, highly recommend doing that. I like, and if unless you're going for like a full, editing, I wouldn't, because
Yeah,
again,
no.
editing's editing is a very tedious process. You have to go through like making sure what scene looks nice and how you want to edit it, and then you have to like think of it in your head of what you want it to look like. And damn, it is so, it's really just like draining, I'd say,
Yeah,
especially if you've been working on one for like weeks or a month or like just months, like Jesus,
yeah.
which
Well, it's like
sucks.
even just the small tiny edits I'll put in on some clips if I'm like merging two together or if I want to zoom in on something. It's I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Like I get a little bit of it done, but I'm not that good at it because I'm not really trying to learn. I don't
Yeah.
want to learn. But also on top of that, because eventually I'll be teaching. That'll be my full time job. I'm not gonna have time to keep a channel, and it's if someone's gonna run a channel, it should really be like a passion project for them, and I wouldn't have that passion for it that I think I would need to really want to run something like that.
Mm,
So,
I see. Um, has your personality changed from after or before you joined the Discord server?
um, for the most part, I don't think so. Aside from I probably like
Jokes.
that's a very loud car. Um, I I mean joining the server, like obviously I wasn't speaking yet, and I didn't regularly start speaking until that first January.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like I was definitely much shyer than I am now. But then again, I'm still like that, uh, very much in person. So it's just a matter of once I get more comfortable, I can open up a little bit more, and that's can be said for any type of like situation I'm in. So it's I've been consistent with that aspect of my personality. Um, so I mean, I don't think I've really changed too much, but like having that opportunity to really like talk more and get to know people, because before that I had spent the like 4 years of college pretty much completely isolating myself because I made like no friends. I'm like, y'all
Jesus.
suck. So it's a welcome change. from being completely isolated, that's for sure.
Truly is. Truly. It's gotta be, I would say, it's gotta be the jokes. It has to be the jokes, man. It always comes back to the gut. Obviously, we can't usually say it on YouTube because, YouTube.
Yeah.
But the jokes, I'd say, are what goes for most people. I went from like just simple, joking and whatnot. And now I'm making fucking jokes about this, and I'm like, bro, what happened? What changed? I need to know what happened, and everything, everything happened. Um, so yeah, why do you like building so much?
Building? Like, in what?
So let's say like this, because I know you play House Flipper a lot,
Oh,
from
yeah.
what I've seen, and I know that you make very big models in Minecraft, like the Jesus statue, your own town, and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. So I want to know that kind of aspect of why you like doing that so much.
Um, I mean, I've always been more interested in the building aspects of a variety of games. Like I grew up playing The Sims, so I would play like primarily Sims 2 growing up, and I would rarely ever touch the Sims gameplay aspect. I would solely build houses and decorate them for years on end until I eventually
Jesus.
fried that computer completely to put the point where I'd go to open the game and it would load for 3 hours until it crashed and said, "Yeah, I
What?
can't load." So I killed that
What?
computer. um,
Jesus.
and then on other games, like again with the newer Sims 4, and then like Minecraft and the House Flipper games, it's always just been like a good kind of creative outlet to get a great like whatever I think of in my head, or even just um maybe I'll see something online and I just want to recreate that. So I might follow little tutorials for Minecraft builds, or on House Flipper people will make custom jobs for you to do, and it's kind of just solving like kind of a formulaic puzzle, but the end result is a pretty house that's really nicely decorated.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess, I mean, I always had an interest in architecture and interior design growing up as well, because initially, before I ever went off to college, I went to college for math. I
Hmm.
had wanted to go for architecture, and I wanted to major in that. But the downside of wanting to do that was in order to apply, you need to be able to give them a detailed portfolio, but the high school I went to, we simply just didn't have the resources to build a portfolio to where I could be I would be a good competitive uh prospect to get into the architecture program. And what's even worse is there's only one architecture program in my entire state, and instead of being a 4-year program, it's a 5-year. And that entire first year, you're competing with the entire class of 5,000 some students, and they will only let about 1,000 students in to then complete the next 4 years. So it was a really big gamble if I wanted to go that route.
Damn.
And I knew that if I did go that route, I had done job shadowing for like local architects, and I would see what their actual day-to-day work is, and it's not what you imagine it to be. You don't get to just design buildings and houses the way that you want. Mostly you have to do it according to what the client wants. Um and usually that's pretty soul sucking. So and it's a lot of long hours, oh, it's not 9 to 5, it's probably 9 to 10. And I simply don't want to do that.
Jesus.
So
Long
I
ass hours.
Yeah, so I'm like, I will just keep my interest simply to a hobby so that I don't learn to hate it. So that's what I've done.
It's a good outlet, to make, like you said, it's a good outlet to make sure that, that it's like you keep your skills up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's just cool because the thought process of, going behind this and whatnot and going like, I'm just, I don't know. I think it's really cool. I don't know how people are able to like have such a creative mentality to where they can build a lot of cool ass things. And I think that's what makes, builders cool and whatnot. They know and they think and whatnot, and it becomes a thing and whatnot, and it's really cool. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of trial and error behind it as well. Because, like, sometimes if I'm making something, like, completely from scratch, it's like I might make something and redo it, like, 10, 15 times until I actually like it.
Oh yeah,
So,
of course. That happens. That tends to happen whenever you're gonna build something.
yeah.
So, do you ever plan to release more reskin mods?
Um, I could, but the
Really?
problem is they're, like, all the same skin, just different recolors.
Oh my goodness.
I have like several that are just unreleased. They're just like I've been keeping them just for myself the last several months.
Oh,
Um, because like I released the pink one, but then like I also had a variant of the pink one where I had like my bear on the back of it. Um, or I had like a red and purple one that you could probably find some clips with me using it. And then I had a like a all dark navy one that I also have clips of, but I just haven't released those. Even though people would probably like it, it's just I don't know. I don't want to get like coined as recoloring them, and I don't want to get in trouble if the actual creator of the model is like, stop recoloring this without asking.
yeah, that'll
So
happen.
yeah, I don't want to step on any toes just because I want it to look the color that I want at the time.
That's fair. It's good to be safe and whatnot whenever you're gonna make something, because you
Yeah.
always gotta ask. What I think what most people do is, they'll usually ask, and if they don't, then they'll usually just credit. But
Yeah.
it's always good to ask someone whenever you're gonna make something, because then they know, they're like, yeah, you can go ahead and do that. Some people
Well,
are just
and then
like,
there's also like a little bit of myself that's a little selfish. I'm like, I don't want to share this. I want it all for myself. And then they'll be like, oh my god, where'd you get that? I'm like, oh, I
uh,
made it. You
now
can't
it's
have
time to
it.
share. Now it's time to share this mod. I get that. I
No.
get that. That sucks. I mean, but at least you have these cool mods for yourself. I think that,
Yeah.
as long as you're content with what you have, that is cool.
Mhm.
So, what are your thoughts on Daisy? Because I know you play that.
I love Daisy. I think I first got into it when it was still just Daisy mod at the time. So it was Arma 2 and they modded it to there's a mod called Daisy that people would mod into it, and it would basically just be, I mean, a rougher version of what today's standalone is. Um and I grew up watching like really small random YouTubers. I mean, obviously they've got like kind of more notable ones like Soviet Womble, but there are a few other ones like Pacer and I don't remember the full name of him, but it was something Rhino. But they would make videos playing the Daisy mod. I'm just like, this looks so fun. Um, and then there's also like other like side mods similar to Daisy, like Altus Life and whatnot. That like some streamers like a big one, Lyric. he would stream Daisy as well as like Altus Life and all the other variants all the time. And so I really got interested in that from all of their videos or streams. But my computer at the time, like, I had Arma and whatnot, and I had the Daisy mod, but I could barely run it at the time because my computer was so, like, dead. And I had killed the RAM of it because of the Sims I had on it. So I never really got the opportunity to get like super in depth with the community before the Daisy standalone came out. And then when that came out in 2013, I had gotten like my first Xbox at the time, and it just wasn't really an option for me to get like the standalone because I don't think it came out for console at the same time it did on PC. And I was between that time, 2013 to probably like honestly 2018, I really took a step back from most of the games I played. Just because I was so busy like with finishing up middle school and going through high school. So I just didn't have time. And I just put a real big focus on like all the extracurriculars I was doing or just schoolwork. But by the time I got out of high school and into college, I was able to like circle back and be like, I really want to get into this game because I am still watching people play it and I'm seeing people play on the standalone now. And so I got it on console. And so I would try playing it on there. But then I came into another roadblock of like, I couldn't figure out how the servers worked because I'd go to the server listings and there'd just be nothing. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? So it's like, I get this like $60 game and I don't even get to play it. I was pissed.
That's dumb. That's stupid.
Yeah. And so I like by the time like I finally got like my new like actual PC last year, I was like, I can finally play this game that I have been wanting to play for 10 years.
Oh my god.
Like I have been waiting. And so like I played it a lot last summer. And then I've taken like a month or two long break here and there because I don't really care to play on like the big public servers just because people are, I mean, they've had 10 years to get used to playing the game. They're a lot better than I am.
Yeah.
And they're a lot of them, they're just kill on sight. I'm like, that's not the way that I like to play the game, so I just avoid them at this point. And I'll just play on a private server that I make just for myself, and I enjoy that. But like as of recently, apparently they're making a new DLC, and so I'm really excited about that.
Ooh.
It won't be out till like November or December, but trust, when that comes out, I might be a little absent because I'll be busy playing Daisy.
Oh my god. That's just how you're gonna spend your day, just a bunch of Daisy. I get it. I respect that.
So
I respect
cool.
it.
I know people are like, it's so boring and slow because all you do is run around and like I mean, and like you loot and you die. But if you look at it from the perspective of someone who first saw the game when they were like 9 to 10 years old and they grew up watching it, to me it's not boring. Especially because I really like that looting aspect of like I like to collect all the different items in the game just to say I have it all. Because in my private server, like there's I think there's like 5 different types of vehicles and then like 3 color variants for most of them. So I would always make it a task for myself, like, I'm going to get every single color of every single vehicle just to say that I have it. And then after I was done with that, I'd go through the listing of guns and all that. And it's like, I made the game less into a fight for your life PvP battle and more of a like scavenge game for myself. So
I see.
you make of it what you will, because some people they find it boring, but I find a way to make it fun.
I don't know. I think it's just not for them then, because you gotta be like
Yeah,
real into this type of stuff to be like, oh yeah, it's good and whatnot. And
yeah,
I think that's just what matters. Because if you're having fun, then you're having fun. But if you think it's not for you, then it's just not for you. You don't need to hate on
yeah,
it and whatnot. Because it is just a game that people would want, that people themselves would like. And if you don't like it, then that's cool. Just don't spread hate about it. Just because you don't like
yeah.
it. What's it like going through a bunch of clips trying to find the best ones?
Uh, trying to find the
Tedious?
best ones. It's more of just here's everything.
Literally. You release a whole like collection. I'm like, what?
Because I can't convince myself that most of the time that something isn't worth posting. That's why I'm like I have too much. Cause like I mean, granted, for say if we're playing Left 4 Dead, that one it's all dependent on the replay buffer.
Mhm.
Because my bind works when I'm playing Left 4 Dead still. And so it's like, oh, whatever I collect from that session, then I can look back and say, oh, was this something I clipped? Because, like, if it was funny, well, obviously I'm going to repost that. Or if it was something like a really weird glitch or bug happened, I'm like, oh, I'll probably repost that as well. And then every now and then it's just like I'll have like a random clip in there where it's like, oh, I clipped it because I didn't hear what someone said and I want to check back because I was confused at the time. And I'm like, oh, those I can delete. But most of the time, if I'm clipping something, it's because I think it's noteworthy and funny enough to repost. So I end up with like 20 clips to post later on. And then it's also not helped by the fact that I'll wait like 2 to 3 weeks at a time to go through my clips folder. So I've collected 2 to 3 weeks worth of game sessions, and that's a
Jesus.
lot of clips.
Oh yeah. Judging by how many you release in one day, let's say like this, you you just got done getting every single one and whatnot, and you're about to release it. You release okay, because I've never seen it before. This is like a whole like album collection. Like let's say
Yeah.
like this. There's an album that has a bunch of songs. This is basically your version of that, except that you're having like different albums of just like a bunch of clips from like Halo and then Left 4 Dead and then
Yeah.
Gmon and whatnot. And I think a lot of a lot of them are just so good. I've watched most of them. Not all of them, but I've watched most of them and oh my god. Those are so good. I love those.
Yeah, and most of them, it's like I get that some people are like, "Oh, it wasn't as funny. Why'd you post that?" I'm like, "That don't matter. I thought it was funny, and therefore I'm gonna post it
Exactly.
because I
Exactly.
want to look at it."
That's what matters. Doesn't
Because
matter.
sometimes,
It
sorry,
doesn't matter. No, no, it's okay. It doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter what you think. If you
yeah.
think it's good, it's good.
Well, it's like what I was gonna say is sometimes like I'll go back and I'll rewatch them myself just because I post them for myself. Quite honestly, just so I can go back and look at them.
What do you like most about taters?
Um,
Everything.
hmm. Yeah, pretty much for the most part. I really just I like the community aspect and just the way that I feel like I've been able to open up more than what I previously would have expected from myself. Because, like said earlier, like going from being pretty much entirely like isolated to having like a good collection of people that I can call friends. It's like it's a pretty big uh change, especially for me. So that's probably one of my favorite aspects.
That's nice. I like everything about it. What isn't there to love besides the bots? But those are
Yeah,
to be expected. Um, but yeah, everything's good. Everything's chill. Gotta love everything. I think of it more as like it's like whenever I don't know how to describe it. It's like friends, but then when you get into like a serious moment, it's like we're more than friends if you know what I mean. Not like that, but like as in like I can trust these people. They're
yeah,
nice. They're people that I've been with. They're cool, and that's just what counts.
for sure.
How did you feel when you started to get to know more and more members?
Um, I mean, sometimes there's that like kind of like imposter syndrome kind of feeling where it's like, do I like should I be here? Like, do I belong here?
Yeah,
And it's kind of hard to like kind of hard to reckon with at times. Uh, and it's you question like, what would it be like if I wasn't here? And like those aren't fun thoughts.
yeah,
Um, so it's kind of like realizing like if they didn't want me to be around, they'd make it. I'm pretty sure y'all would make it pretty obvious.
yeah.
I don't get that, so I must be wanted. So
I feel it is considering everyone who's been here has been here for this long, and they feel that they can open up, and other people can open up to them and whatnot, and then we can all share and laugh and whatever. I think that's what counts, because if
yeah,
again, if you would have, if someone like that, like let's say someone joined, and they've been here for a long time, and then other people didn't like them, I'm pretty sure pretty sure they would have either told them and whatnot, like face to
yeah,
face, or just said, yeah, I'm not really a fan of them. But if you're, you know, because everyone here is like special in their own way, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
It's just chill. It's chill. So let's say in a few years, like 3 or 5, do you still see yourself playing in the Tater server?
I mean, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't. Obviously, like I'm my time like throughout like a normal week during the school year might be a little limited, but I'll still have like my weekends and winter break and summer break being a teacher. So I've got that benefit of like I can be more active during those seasons. Um, but I mean, at the end of the day, I'm never gonna not love video games, and a big part of video games is having people to play them with. So I don't think I'm going anywhere.
True. Getting into the games, how do you feel about Left 4 Dead 2?
I mean, Left 4 Dead's pretty chill.
To say the
uh,
least, besides when you look over, all the bad stuff on the workshop. Yikes.
yeah. I mean, it's another one of those games I grew up watching, always wanting to play. So finally getting that opportunity to play it, I was like, oh heck yeah! Like, and it was fun. Like, it can be fun playing by yourself, but then finally getting like a good group of people to play it with consistently, like that just makes the game 10 times better in my opinion.
Yeah. Interesting. What got you into Left 4 Dead 2?
Um, Mostly, I mean, like I said, it was I would watch people play it, so it was pretty big, like on YouTubers like Scene Anners or All Sham No Wow, and Captain Sparkles. The three of them, as well as I think one other friend that they'd play with. I don't think he had a channel, but they would play like Left 4 Dead custom maps together, and I would see those videos. Like I think, and a lot of them are dated, like probably back to like 2009, like 2010, back when the game was new. I would watch those videos and like, this looks so cool. Like, what game is this? Um, and at the time, like, I had seen like the Shrek is Love, Shrek is Life
Oh
video.
God. Oh.
I had no connection that those were Left 4 Dead characters, even though I had seen like seen Anner's in All Sham No Wow's videos. I would see those characters, but I still didn't make that connect until much later. But I would watch them, as well as there was another channel, but I'm blanking on what their name was. They're not very big, um, like at all. They never did get big. But and then granted, there's also like, if you've ever watched Uber Haxer Nova, he played it back in the day. And I liked watching him because I was a big fan of when there used to be a big group channel called The Creatures. But I mean, they're shut down now, but I would watch a lot of those different members and all their videos. So it was really just about watching them play and then just wanting to play it myself, but not having the proper access to play it.
Mm,
So that, yeah.
I see. When did you get into Left 4 Dead 2?
I finally got like my own copy of it. I want to say I bought it in 2014 when I first got my like because I first got my Xbox One in 2014. So I got the Xbox 360 version, obviously, because it's backwards compatible. Um, and I was like, oh, I'll play it. And so like I remember like installing it and loading it, and then going to play it. But then the Wi-Fi we have at my house, for some reason, it sucks. And so at least on on the Xbox servers, it wouldn't connect. Um, and so I was like, oh, I can't play it. So I didn't ever get into it that early. And then in the second half of 2018, when I went off to college, I realized, oh crap, I'm not using my home Wi-Fi anymore. I can try it again after 4 years of waiting. So I I tried it out my freshman year in my tiny college, like freshman dorm, and I was like, it works. And
It
so I'd
works.
play it here and there. I wasn't too I didn't play it too consistently at the time. But then by the time like I think junior year, the spring semester, during spring of 2021, I played it nightly, like from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m., like
Jesus.
every single night for an entire semester.
What?
And it was a horrible
Wow.
addiction. But
Wow.
that was also the only semester I got a 4.0. So you know what? It paid off. But
For a whole
yeah.
semester. Jesus. Honey, what the hell kind of addiction, man?
That's how I built up my Xbox hours, and then obviously, like I said, I lightened up on that through my last year, and then I had to move back home when I graduated, and I had to spend a few months not being able to play it until I finally bought the PC version. But
It was just great. It was just great having an addiction like that. What do you like most about Left 4 Dead?
um,
Could
I
be anything.
think for the most part, like I really like that, like, um, just the way that the campaigns play out. How you're like, oh, I have a point to point objective. Um, I don't something about that just always I don't it's hard to explain. It really intrigued me. I'm like, that just looks cool. And then I get to kill zombies along the way. Um, and then just the slight story behind it, I also thought was interesting once I like really began to delve deep into that. Um, and that's, I mean, like just some of those game mechanics that really just drew me in. I think that's probably what I like about it.
Good choice. What's something you dislike about the game mechanics on Left 4 Dead 2? It could be
Um,
like anything. Could be from like AI to the survivors to the melee weapons, anything like that.
yeah. At most, like, and this was mostly an Xbox issue on my part, was the when the hordes would like crowd around you, and it's like I can't shove everything off of me at once,
Oh
and
my
and
god.
I just get beat down. I'm like, it just seems never ending. I can't
Yeah.
break. That can be frustrating. I don't. Uh, like, give me at least the moment to breathe so I can like not die.
I
This,
remember
I think,
that.
I mean, granted, the game wants you to die. That's the whole
Yeah.
purpose. But like, come on.
I remember that, dude. That sucked. Every time, especially because here's the thing. There's a difference between PC and I think Xbox is that PC you're like you're more like into your zone. You have like the good. You have you're set on your controls. It's easy to just like bash, kill and whatnot. Use melees because you're quick about it and you're on a PC. You're using a keyboard. But I swear, back in the day, whenever you were using an Xbox, it was so harder to push off the zombies. And granted, they do want you. The game director is all like, "Oh yeah, it's Left for Dead. It's Left for Dead. You have to die. You can't. We're making this hard on you, obviously." But oh yeah, dude, the fact that back whenever you were playing on a console, Xbox, that and you couldn't just like, oh, get the hell off me. It was like, oh my god, bruh. That sucked.
Well, and I didn't do myself any favors either because at the same time that I was doing that, like the 8 to 4 a.m. like sessions for Left 4 Dead that semester, I was also like I'd spend any time outside of that if I wasn't doing schoolwork or if I wasn't going to classes. I'd spend that other time playing Red Dead Online, and so I had like ground my controller like joysticks in so hard from the fishing in Red Dead of all things that I had like really bad controller drift.
Oh
So
god.
I would be playing Left 4 Dead with horrible controller drift, just fighting my way through it. Like, stop
Oh
drifting.
Jesus. The controller drift goes wild, bro.
Yeah, but arguably, I'd say I was a better Left 4 Dead player back then than I am now.
What? What? Wow.
Because
That's surprising.
I only played campaign on Xbox. I mean, I would touch some of the mutations every now and then, but I would only play campaign for the most part. And I really paid attention to my accuracy on it, and I was always trying to make it better. And I think by the time I stopped playing on console, I had gotten to where I was pretty consistent between like 75 to 80% on accuracy. I was like, I worked hard for that on a controller with like really bad drift.
Yeah.
But then I get to PC and I'm like, give me the cat.
That is all. Okay, now I can see why. Because it is always it always comes back to Maxwell and the gnome. Oh my god, Jesus.
What's funny about that though is like before I had like when I first started playing on PC Left 4 Dead, I had never played with mods before. And I think I probably spent the first couple of months in the server, like, I had put a bunch of random mods into my game at the time, but I didn't know about Maxwell until I think someone in the server, like, showed it to me, and I'm like, oh, I can have a cat.
Oh my god, no. And then it turned into this whole fiasco of like Maxwell cat, the Maxwell, you got to get the Maxwell cat. It heals, it just works and whatnot. So that's cool.
It's technically not my fault. Someone in the server introduced it to me. It's their fault.
What is a campaign that you dislike and why? I think I can take a pretty good guess at this
Um,
time.
I mean, everyone says Last Stand, and I mean, I can see why it's pretty bad, especially on tank run. But I mean, personally, I'm not a big fan. Like, I don't like Crash Course either. And then I'm also not too big of a fan of like the finale on Death Toll because I just think it's boring.
You know what? That's fair.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
fair.
I remember before I joined the like before I joined the server, I remember like that during that week before, and I was just playing random lobbies on Tank Run. I remember like having to like run the circle in Death and the finale in Death Toll, like in Tank Run with like all the tanks chasing after me while everyone else on the team is dead. And I'm like, I have to do this for 10 minutes. And by the time like the boat finally gets up there, I get the threshold of getting on the boat and I get hit by a rock.
Oh my
Like,
god, that's gotta be the
why?
worst feeling.
Why?
That's
Why
gotta
do
be
I
the
even
worst feeling.
try? Yeah. So I'm not too big a fan of Death Toll, to say the
That's
least.
fair. For some reason, I think you're the first person on the podcast to say something other than Crash Course or The Last Stand.
Well,
And
I think that's half because I wasn't here when, like, I wasn't playing Left 4 Dead when the Last Stand update came out. So I, I've never played Left 4 Dead before that. It's only ever been after.
ooh,
So
that
I
makes
never
sense.
experienced what the game was like, whether like any of the game mechanics changed or any of that. So I just
That's
know what I
fair.
know.
That's fair. So moving on to host kind of games. If you wanted a game to be hosted, what game would you want to be hosted?
Uh, hmm. I like most of pretty much everything we already have, like in the hosting like list. Uh, for a while it was like in the talks of trying possibly getting up like a private Daisy server, but like from what I've done with like my own private server on Daisy, it is so tedious to get one up and running because you have to do all the mods individually, and if a single one is like slightly outdated, it breaks the entire like server. And it's not just, oh, I get this mod and I just put it into the correct folder. No, you also have to get what they call a key and put it into like copy that and put it in a separate folder, and it's so convoluted, and it's not easy to run like a free server through Daisy, which is why it's like, oh, you don't want to pay, but the problem is paying for one of the servers simplifies that process by a
Yeah.
significant margin. So at this point, as much as I would want a Daisy server, just so that I have somewhere to like play Daisy potentially with other people who aren't gonna kill me on site. I also know a lot of people in this server, not only do they just not have Daisy, they're just not interested. So it'd be
Yeah.
I don't think it's really worth taking the time and effort to make a server if I'm the only one playing on it, and I already know how to make and upkeep one, like just an individual personal server for myself. So
That's fair. You got to be cautious and whatnot of what
yeah.
people want and and don't want. So I get that. What's a game that's been hosted that you like the most besides Left 4 Dead 2, if that's your favorite?
Um, Hard to say that I'd have a favorite among the other games. I mean, because I I really like Halo when we play that. I enjoy Lethal Company. Obviously, I took a pretty big break from that.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, I'm glad I took that break because I feel like I would be completely burnt out on it by now if
Oh
I
yeah.
hadn't taken that break. Um, and because I took that break, like now I'm more like I'm getting back into like wanting to play it more often. Um, I haven't had time recently, but hopefully soon. Um, and then obviously I love Minecraft. I remember playing it back when it was like almost brand new and during the summer of 2011. Um, back I was like I think I played it for the first time at like 1.7.2 on like before beta, and so that I always like that, and obviously I like the Gmod hosts. So I mean, most of those they've stand on pretty much equal grounding for me. Um, but obviously
That's
there's
fair.
some where I'm like, I don't like content warning. It was
Oh
just
yeah.
bad. I don't play Killing Floor, obviously. I don't
Mhm.
play Black Ops or TF2, either of them. No More Room in Hell can be fun in certain like moods.
You get burnt out of it
Um,
really quick from what I've noticed. Or
yeah,
usually a lot of people do, including me.
yeah. And then like even like within Left 4 Dead, like I prefer anything between the tank run, campaign, or survival hosts. Special delivery will never be my favorite out of those, just because it's so taxing. But across the other games, they're pretty much all on equal grounding for the ones that I play, at least.
Fair. Fair. In your opinion, what do you think about the fan base of Left 4 Dead 2, of the Left 4 Dead 2 community?
Um, I'll take it from an Xbox perspective, then I'll do PC. Xbox wise, from my perspective, it's a much smaller community because I remember I would throughout that like whole semester I was on so consistently, you'd run into like the same like 20 to 30 people like nightly. And it's like, oh, I recognize you. I don't talk to them like much at all. But if you see them like, oh, you're like, oh yeah, I know you. I can play several rounds with you. This is great. And it was just and that's just how it went. But then switching over to PC and it's like there's so many people. And I rarely ever would like during that month I played random campaigns, I'd rarely ever run into the same people. Like ever. It's always just random people. It's like am I like I go from like a more like local regional server to like why am I in a Chinese server? How did I get here? Uh, and so it's just it was a very big difference going from a what seemed like a very small community to a much vaster one where no one knows each other aside from small pocketed groups kind of like taters.
Yeah.
um and then like the other community aspect of like the modders and all that, I had never like seen that before because I was on Xbox, so getting to see all the like all the different workshop items. I'm like, this is really cool. And that's all I really saw was this stuff is cool. Some of this stuff is gross. Why did you post that? Um, but most of it was like, this is cool. I can customize my game for once. Um,
Yeah.
and it was hard to choose. Like, oh, I want this, but it conflicts, and no, I can't have two different, like Molotov textures at once. Unfortunately, even though these two look really cool, I have to pick and choose, and that sucks because I
Oh
want
yeah.
all of them. Uh, and then like being in the server, I've gotten to know like more of that, like more like drama side of the community that I never saw before because I was never in it. I'm like, oh, there's much more going on, or like someone would mention like a popular like workshop creator. I'm like, I have no idea who they are, but okay,
Now you
just go
know.
along with it.
Now you know.
Yeah,
So, what's your opinion on Back for Blood?
never played it.
Oh!
I've never played it. I honestly, until joining the server, I literally did not know that Back for Blood was
Wow.
supposedly a continuation of Left 4 Dead. I
Really?
had no idea. I'd never made that connection before. Um,
Wow.
because when Back 4 Blood came out, I was not paying attention at all to like video games very like highly. I was just like it just completely slipped past me. And so hearing about it when I joined the server, I'm like, oh,
Oh, it's dog
interesting.
shit.
I'm not gonna play it, but okay.
That's just how it went. It's just like, oh,
Yeah,
no, I'm not playing that.
yeah.
Which I think
Nice
that's
to
funny.
know.
Do you think that Valve or Turtle Rock Studios, the company that came up with Left 4 Dead, should make a Left 4 Dead 3?
Um, at this point, it's been over 10 years.
I don't think so.
I one, it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Two, I don't think it should happen because with the state of how most games are made today, it would be a husk of
Oh
what
yeah.
we want, and I don't want to see that. It's kind of like that saying of like, oh, like don't meet your idols. I feel it's a similar concept of that of with like really nostalgic video games of getting like really late like sequels or like a trilogy. Just don't do it. You're just gonna ruin it. And if you can't play to the people who are extremely nostalgic about it and fulfill every single like desire that they would have for another game, it's just not worth it to piss everyone off.
Oh yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
fair.
again, I don't think that they should do it. I
I
could think
think
of some cool ideas if they would, but at the end of the day, even the things that I can think of
it's not gonna be
still
good.
wouldn't be enough. It still
It
wouldn't be enough.
it's not gonna, cause you come out with Left 4 Dead, which is good in of itself, cause it's it's very atmospheric, it's very good, it tells a good job at telling a story and whatnot, has good characters, and then when it came out with Left 4 Dead 2, it's like okay, we're getting somewhere, but here's the thing. Those were like during the time where like games are popular and they were like getting good and whatnot. I think if you were to make a game like Left 4 Dead 3 now, take a good look at Back for Blood. Look what they did.
Yeah,
Look what
yeah,
that's not happening. Like let's be honest. Let's be honest here. It's not happening.
yeah. I'm not looking for a left for Fortnite 3.
Oh
Like, no, thank
god.
you.
No. Is there a specific game that isn't Left 4 Dead 2 that you enjoy playing? I think I can judging by your hours, I'm going to guess House Flipper, but
Oh yeah,
I could be wrong.
that's a big one right now for me.
It's very it's
I
so
bought it
good.
on release. I had it on. Well, I had it on. I had it on pre-order, because I had the first House Flipper and I loved that. Um, and when I heard that they're announcing House Flipper 2 like a year before it got released, I was like, I'm getting that. Especially because I'd see like the gameplay trailers for it, and I would see like the new like features and whatnot of how you'd go about playing the game. I'm like, they actually did their job of improving upon the first game, and so I'm like, I will happily give them my money for this. And like, obviously, there's still like some bugs and whatnot here and there that I mean, they're fixing them actively, and it's the last several months of all the little tiny hot fixes or patches that they put in of getting us new content. They're not slowing down, so I'm pretty happy with what they're doing, especially because compared to the first game, we actually get like player like made creations that we can share with each other on mod.io, and having custom jobs really opens up the game so much more beyond just the built-in like jobs that you do, as well as just um the other houses you can decorate. Because with having a new like sandbox mode, not only do I just get to create whatever I want, but I can put other people's creations into my own game, and if they've created a custom job to go with it, then I get to do that as well. And it's so much that they've opened up what the game has possible in it so much more, and it doesn't feel like a dead end game like the first one really did.
Oh yeah, I can relate to that. I loved as much as I loved playing the first one, seeing how what you've done with how what you've made and how you've built stuff with the second game and whatnot. Judging by looking at how it is now and then how it looked before, because before it was like it was cool, but like you would get burnt out and whatnot.
Yeah,
But now it looks like they added a lot more features and whatnot, and I think that's what makes it like so you don't get burnt out. You get to try more new things. You get to be more creative. You get to think outside the box, which I think is really cool and whatnot. And that's just what they I think they've done from what I've seen, which I
yeah,
think is really cool. So there's that and whatnot.
yeah.
Do you have a favorite Left 4 Dead content creator? If you do, if you have one,
Um, Left 4 Dead.
you could also just say Taters. I know I would. I know I would.
I mean, yeah, that's a fair option, and for people who upload nowadays, absolutely. If I were to say retrospectively, I'm always gonna love Scene Anners and All Sham No Out, even though Left 4 Dead was never their primary content, but they're the ones who got me into it. Um, but as of like today, for like more like who's actually uploading, obviously it's gonna go to Tater.
Yeah, that's fair. How did it feel first joining the Discord server?
Um, it was a little intimidating just because I had never joined a server before. I had only ever been in the server that my professor had for our class, and all we ever did in that was she would stream our lessons to us during COVID, and no one would turn on their cameras, no one would speak. It would just be her, and
Hold
that's
on.
all I had experienced before.
What? Hold on. You said
What?
your professor had a server. You mean to tell me?
Yeah.
Hold on. Your professor had a Discord server where they
Yes.
just what? That is a
Yeah.
first.
It was a class on it on game theory, not the game theory you're thinking of, but more on the side of like, oh, if I, it's like, it's conceptual stuff for like how um, more simple games work. They're all the games are you wouldn't know because it's kind of like, oh, I have like a what they'd call like the dot game, and through this like pattern recognition, I can give you like a certain number of solutions on how to solve it and win. And it's just really dumb probability stuff like that that then later ties into like coding and whatnot. But
Interesting.
yeah,
Interesting.
no, she threw us into Discord because according to her, it was more the Discord servers at the time were more stable than Zoom because of COVID.
Oh
So
yeah.
she's like, "We're gonna do it through Discord." I'm like, "Okay."
And that's just
So
how it went.
yeah, and so joining this server, I had never been in an actual community server before. Um, and I remember like joining like one of my first calls to play during the hosts. I remember being like, and at the time it was only 8 people could play at a time, and I felt so bad like joining in because a lot of people like there'd always be more than 8 people in the call at the time, and I always felt bad like being like I want a spot to play like I'm new,
Yeah.
but at the same time like because I'm new I don't know if I'm allowed to take a spot. Um, and so it was just like kind of like getting my foot in the door of like if I just keep showing up then eventually I'll just get a more permanent spot.
Oh
And
yeah.
it kind of just worked out.
It worked just right in your favor, and that's just how
Yeah.
it turned out.
Yeah.
I think what is really cool is that you know, how do you feel now though about joining now? Because I think a lot obviously has changed. It's usually I think when people go and join their first Discord call, like if they join a community. For me, I was so shy. I was like, oh my god, I don't even know if I'm wanted here and whatnot. Because at the time I was like, oh, I don't know who I'm playing with. I don't know who these people are and whatnot. But it's like
Yeah.
the more you got to like join, it was like, oh wait, I'm starting to develop a bond here and whatnot, and like I'm loving it here. I'm loving it. So I think that was cool. And now joining now, it's like, oh, I'm very, like I don't know how to describe it. I'm very like just open and whatnot, and cool with
Yeah.
how things turn out now, which I think is just cool.
Yeah. And like during that first, like the fall of when I joined, like obviously I wasn't talking, it was all just typing. Uh, but like the more and more I joined through that, throughout that fall, like I would make like the effort to stay up because granted I had nothing to do the next day. It didn't matter if I ruined my sleep
Yeah.
schedule. And so like I would be like almost always like one of the last people to leave. And so I think that really I think that left a mark on just showing that like, oh, I'm here to really actually engage with the community in the server. I'm not just gonna show up for the host and immediately leave after. Like I'm gonna stay for the full after party, god dang it. Um and like I remember like uh sometimes it'd be like we'd be in call till like 4 or 5 a.m. and sometimes it would just be like a few of us. Like I remember there were some nights where it was just like it might just be like um me, I think Iron and Bug, and it's just they would be talking about like whatever, and I'm just there. But like they didn't tell me to leave, so I must be fine to stay.
It's okay. It's
So
okay to be here.
yeah,
Just don't mind.
and
Don't.
so I mean, it just over time it just grew to me more comfortable. I'm like, I'm allowed to be here, and if you don't want me to be here, I'm gonna stay anyway.
Ooh, 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 sassy. I like it. Tell us. We're running out the last two questions, so these are gonna be the last two, and then people in chat can ask. And then we
Alright.
can end it there. But these are gonna be the last two. Tell us your thought process behind the making of the Jesus statue.
Um, ultimately, like, I had it in my mind of like, I wanted to make something for the spawn point of that first Minecraft server. I made that like rainbow dome. But before I built that, I'm like, I just want to make something big. I want to make a mega structure. I kept seeing videos of people doing mega structures in Minecraft. I'm like, I want to make one. And at the same time, I was also watching a lot of videos about the I'm thinking what the tagline is. What is it? Minecraft's like #1 anarchy server, 2B2T.
Oh
And
my god,
a
that
big
server.
feature of 2B2T is they have the Valley of Jesus, where they have created that the same like Jesus statue I have, but they've made it of like every single block in the game.
What
Like,
the
and
hell?
so I'm like, I want to make a Jesus statue, and so I got a schematic for it, and I took the time to create my little frog light farm because I'm like, I don't just want it to be made out of stone. That's kind of boring, and I don't want mobs spawning on it. So I need it to illuminate, so it's mob safe. So I'm like, what? Oh, what's safer than like frog lights? I could do glowstone, but that'd be a really hard thing to grind. But frog
Yeah.
lights, I can make a farm for that. So I took the time to get all my little frogs into the nether, and I made a little farm out of them. And after 3 days of working on that, I had myself a Jesus statue.
Oh my god. Jesus. Literally, quite literally Jesus, but I remember the day that was happening and whatnot. We were all doing our own things, but then I remember that specific day and you were doing your thing and whatnot. I was like, oh, I wonder what Honey is making. And then whenever I heard her, and then even better, whenever I saw it for myself, I was like, I cannot believe this is actually a goddamn thing. And every time someone new came in, they would be like, "What the fuck is this statue, man?" Because you'd be in the spawn and you'd be like, oh, "Okay, it's very nice, very cozy in here." And then you look behind you, and oh, holy shit, it's Jesus! And then it was so great to show people that and see what their reactions was and whatnot, because it was just cool and to see like, oh, it's a giant Jesus statue, and the fact that it was so good that we carried it onto the next server, that just says a lot. It says a lot about how good it was and whatnot. That's what I'm saying.
Just gotta remember, he's there to patrol the Minecraft server, make sure everyone is behaving correctly because
Oh my
not on my Christian
god.
Minecraft server, I
Not
tell
on
you
my
what.
Christian server. Okay, this is gonna be the last question, so
Alright.
make it count. If you, I think you're expecting this. If you were locked in a room with 110-year-olds or 10 100-year-olds and you had to fight life or death, which one are you choosing?
Mm. And as much as I don't care much for other people's kids, I have a soft spot, and I could not hit a kid. I just couldn't. I can't. So I would have to go for the 10 100-year-olds. And besides, they're on their way out anyway. I will be. It would be merciful of me to kill them, if you think about it.
They're asking for it at
I'm
that point.
doing them a favor. They may say they don't want it, but trust me, they want it.
All I can think of is just like the punching and then just the skeleton noises of just rattling and whatnot. I don't know. I think
I'll be
I
gentle, I promise.
you'll be gentle as you fucking karate chop them and they turn into ash. Oh my god. Okay. Well, now is the time where people in chat. There's like only Conrad. I know you're watching, bro. You better not put something fucking weird in the chat or I'm banning you. You're not coming to another podcast again. But you can ask a question. You don't better not be what you put last time, because last time you put doesn't hang for bugs, and that was just fucking weird. You turned into Moses really quick. I don't like that. Don't do that. That's fucking weird. He's gonna put something either stupid or he's probably just not. He's probably, I don't know. He's probably doing his own thing. And if we don't get any question, that's okay, because I asked you a bunch of questions and that went on for a whole 1 hour and 33 minutes. Oh yeah.
I'm good at talking when you get down to it.
Honey, what are the questions? I fucking knew it. I knew it. I knew that question was gonna be asked. I knew it. I knew it. I knew that question was gonna be asked.
Oh.
Did you actually do it?
You want to know the truth of the whole matter?
I do. It's time to confess.
In all honesty, so I was traveling out. I was trying to find a spruce forest at the time. And I had all my cats in my Minecraft house. I had them sitting, but the server kept bugging at the time. And it happened to some people's like dogs as well, where they would just randomly teleport to you even if you had them sitting. And so that happened to 3 of my cats. And I'm like, oh, like why did you teleport here? Like, I don't like I'm not like that far away from like I guess spawn, but I'm still far enough away that this would be really like tedious to get them all back, because they'd probably just teleport back to me again, and I can't just trust them to follow me through the water because they'll bug out and drown, and I don't want that. Yeah. So I was like, and granted, I was like, there was like, I think it was literally just Nick and I on the server at the time, I'm pretty sure, and it was like probably 1 or 2 a.m.
Oh my
and so God. I'm like, I put one of them into the boat that I was gonna boat back with, because I had 3 cats and I only had room for 1 cat. And then I had to put the other 2 down.
Oh my God.
And hope that he didn't notice in the chat when it said that, like, 8Eve2000, like, has slain, like, the name of my cat, and then...
There's no way.
And so I boated back, and I brought the other one back into the house, and because I had 4 cats at the time, one of them hadn't teleported, so I still had 1 cat in the house, so now I just had 2 cats. And so I just bred them 2 more times and replaced the other 2.
Oh my God. Honey! What? So all that time Nick was saying, I know you killed them. He was oh my okay, listen. When I first heard about it, I know a lot of people in chat are probably like, what? So it's true. Me, okay, I thought Nick was joking.
Well, and it's like I kept like I would deny it because it's like I get hassled with it over and over and over, and it makes me feel bad.
Yeah.
So I'm like, just shut up. Like, stop talking about it. Like, I'm not happy that I had to do that, but I'm also like, I'm not gonna take the time to boat those freaking cats back and forth. God dang it.
Honestly,
annoying.
What could you have done at that point? Like, let's be honest.
It was either because at that point I'm like, I'm not boating them back. So either I put them out of their misery, or I leave them there to be lonely, and it hurt me too much to leave them there. So I had to kill them.
Let's be honest though. If anyone was in that situation, like, genuinely, you could have... Maybe, I don't think you understand, man.
You can't teleport, like... I wouldn't have been able to teleport them.
Because they were on an island, correct? and you were
Yeah.
like, and so there was just a bunch of yeah, I'm pretty sure they would have either like
And
stayed back or drowned.
even if the commands would have allowed me to teleport them, that if I wish that would have crossed my mind, but it's a little late for that because I didn't think of that. I don't know if that would have been possible, quite honestly.
But again, honestly, what could you
They
have
didn't
done?
follow me to the island is the problem. They suddenly teleported there because the server was like lagging out.
That is true. They were lagging.
So
All that time, Nick was telling. Wow, I still can't believe it, but at least you got it off your chest. It's not
he says it like I did it maliciously though. I did not. I didn't want to do it. I
the
just had
way
to.
the way he was describing it. I'll be honest with you. The first time I heard it, I was like, "What? There's no way Honey actually did that." And now it's like, well, it's been. Has it been a year? I'm pretty sure it's been a year. It's been a year since that happened. It's like, does it really matter anymore? I mean, it happened. It happened, and shit. That's such cap, maybe. Yes, you did. Anyways, shit happened.
What I want to know is who made that dungeon. That's what I want to know.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe. Come on now. We know you made it, bro. We know you made it. Stop the cap, little bro. Stop the cap. Again, but you're right though. You know what we need to do? We need to just do. Okay, I'm not actually gonna do it, but we need to just get a whole fucking podcast of Nick, me, you, and maybe, and Toast, and put everyone in there. And be like, all right, confess who did it, who did it. Like
Minecraft retrospective.
the dungeon, maybe the one under your house. Who else? Let's be honest. Okay,
Yeah, I
I
want
know
to know
we're
who made the dungeon.
I know we're getting sidetracked, but like again, who? Who? That had to be you, maybe.
I
Come on
mean,
now.
I understand the shame behind making it, but it was really well done to the point where I wish I had made it.
I didn't. Do you really think, okay, let's be honest. You do realize that grammar was not my grammar. You do realize I can't even tell the difference between your and you are. That's such cap, bro. That's such cap. That's such cap. Cause here's the thing. I want to say either maybe your Toast made it, but Toast isn't. I don't. Toast isn't
No,
like
Toast
that,
wasn't on the server at the time.
wasn't it? Okay, I want to say I'm wrong, and I probably am. It was either was Mickey on? I can't tell if Mickey
No,
was
she
on.
wasn't. I
So
remember when we found it, it was it was because Nick was there, and you were there, and maybe was online. But like, she was working on something like in like another part of her basement, I think. And we were just going down there to bother her.
I know, cause here's
They're
the
like,
thing.
oh, what's behind this secret painting or down this hallway? And she didn't want us to go down there. Because I think at the time it had just been like end rods that you had lighting up the room.
Oh yeah.
Um, and then we walked back there and it was not just end rods.
Cause
I
here's
was
the
like,
thing.
what is this?
Because here's the thing. When I first saw it, I entered. Because I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty sure I've already mentioned this before in VC like a bunch of times. But
Yeah.
at the time, I genuinely was like, because nobody. I think it was only Toast or you that was online, and I and maybe no, maybe wasn't online at that moment, but I made that
Yeah,
cat
I
bro.
remember you said you were making a chanting room.
But here's the thing. I went in because here's the thing. Nobody was online, I think, except for. Shut the hell up, Connor. Nobody was online except for you or Toast, I think. And I'll be legit. I genuinely did sneak into maybe's enchanting room because here's the thing. I was going through everybody's houses because it's that one part of the night where you're going through and whatnot and you're bored and so you're just running everywhere and whatnot, find to see stuff. And I saw maybe's hidden room and at the time it was only N rods. So I was like, oh
Yeah.
my god, I gotta show Toast this. So later that day, or I think it was the day after, I I was on, and then Toast was on. So I was like, Toast, you need to come see this. You need to come see this room that Maybe's building, so we can go prank her and whatnot. I think it was like that. I'm trying to remember. It's a blur to me.
Yeah.
But I showed Toast the room, and that was when the room came up, and I was like, what the fuck? Again, though, who this is something that's like
Yeah.
genuinely a mystery.
It's it's hard to tell because obviously I know it wasn't me because it was at the time that was during the 3 day that I spent making the Jesus statue. So I
Yeah,
was busy with that. And sometimes it'd just be like me on the server, or then sometimes Nick would be there. Nah, I don't know what he was doing.
Nick was
Uh
over there doing his own thing.
yeah. So and then by the time I think I was like I just had like the top of the shoulders and the head to finish. That's when we found the dungeon, and it was like, what is this? And then
I
it's
know.
I no one has yet to admit to building it. So
Come on now, guys. Whoever did it, come up. Honey already admitted what she did to her cats. Come on, maybe just admit that you made the dungeon, man. It's okay to feel a little bit of shame that you made something like that. Because again, no one else has that kind of creativity. Because if you look again, I'm going way too into depth with this. It's literally been a year since this happened, so like, what does it matter
yeah.
now? But still, the creativity of who made it, and that's such cap. What are you trying to say? That I made it? That Nick made it? Nick's stupid. Nick's as much he's not, but Nick wouldn't make something like that. Nick wouldn't make something because Nick doesn't even know how to spell. Doesn't I don't even fuck Jesus. Nick doesn't even know the difference between your and your sometimes. So, but yeah, I think we're going way into depth with this. Well, probably
Yeah,
I I doubt or whatever that later today, if Bugs hosts, we're gonna literally be talking about it again probably. But
probably.
it's still a mystery. It's still a mystery as to who did it. But
Yeah.
yeah, we were getting a little bit off topic. Sorry, guys. If you guys have anything to ask Honey before we end the stream, that would be a good time. But if you don't, then we'll just call it there. Can't believe we went on a whole tangent. Holy shit, that whole conversation lasted about 20 minutes.
Listen, I'm not gonna say I'm trying to steal the record, but I'm trying to steal the record.
Whoa. Conrad, you hear that? Honey might be trying to steal the long record from you.
I think I might have done it.
I want to hold on. Let me go check. I need to go check.
Think I might have done it.
Conrad's was 143.02. Yours is 146. You beat it. Honey,
Oh
you
yeah.
beat the record. You beat the record, honey.
9.
Conrad's heartbroken. I bet Conrad, I already know that as soon as I am done with this and I go into VC, you're gonna say something about it, man. I already know. I already know. Anyways, again, she's nearly at 2 hours. I know. Honey, congrats.
I'm good at talking.
But yeah, if there's no more questions, and that was literally the only question, then we'll just end it there. So yeah, I want to thank you, honey, for coming onto the podcast, and whatnot. Episode 9, which is good. Hopefully next episode, stay tuned, guys. We'll be doing possibly strawberries, or toast. I don't know. Probably strawberries though. And yeah, I just want to thank you, honey. Thank you for coming onto the podcast and agreeing to do this and whatnot with me.
Absolutely.
It was a very good experience to hear your thoughts, hear what you've done and whatnot, and how things would have been different and whatnot. But yeah, it's very cool to hear your opinion. And yeah, So thank you for being on here. Thank you guys for watching the stream. But I will catch you guys later on the next episode and whatnot, unless I make a YouTube shorts about this. But yeah, yeah, I'll see you guys later.